is my pleasure tonight to present this year's Hillman Prize for Photojournalism to the Denver Post and 7 of its photographers, some of whom are here tonight, for 2 remarkable features: Below the Line, Childhood Poverty in Colorado, as well as Ian Fisher, American Soldier. The Denver Post in these 2 remarkable series showed both an exceptional spirit of collaboration as well as a real commitment to photojournalism, which is a rare commodity these days. Below the Line examines the underside of Colorado's booming economy and scenic beauty. It graphically shows the reality that 1 in every 7 children in Colorado lives in poverty. The Post sent out a team of 7 photographers to capture the human facts behind that statistic. They covered all of Colorado, from the suburbs to the ski country to the rural San Luis Valley. In addition, the Denver Post is also being recognized for Ian Fisher, American Soldier, in which photographer Craig Walker and 3 reporters followed an 18-year-old Ian Fisher as he finished high school, joined the Army, and went to Iraq. Now please welcome Tim Rasmussen, Craig F. Walker, Judy DeHaas, and R.J. Zangosti of the Denver Post to accept the Hillman Prize for Photojournalism for this marvelous work.
It is an absolute honor for me to represent the photojournalist staff at the Denver Post. And a sincere thank you to the Hillman Foundation. This is an honor that I deeply, deeply love, and very proud of our staff. And I'd like to acknowledge real quickly Craig Walker, R.J. Zangosti, and Judy DeHaas. We had a number of folks who didn't make the trip. Joe Amon, Young Chain, Andy Cross, and Resmar Vashti. Multimedia is really important to us. We did video stories on all of this. Megan Leiden, our multimedia editor, and Eric Lutzen shot the video. It's absolutely brilliant if you get a chance to go look at it. I want to tell you just a real little bit about these 2 projects because it was a very trying time, not only in our industry, but certainly in Denver in the last year. In 2007, a few of us were out having a beer, watched President George W. Bush's State of the Union address. It was just before the surge. We were just kind of dumbfounded, and one of our editors asked the question, who would sign up now? And as soon as he said it, the light bulbs went off and went, that's it, that's it. You know, so many young men and women in this country have no options but the United States military. And at a time where we're at war on 2 fronts, a lot of folks are drawn to that. So we wanted to find a kid who could tell that story. So for the next 27 months, Craig became part of the Fisher family and traveled with Ian through all the ups and downs. One of the most amazing things that happened here was that the United States military, not once in 27 months, denied us any access to anything that we wanted to photograph. That's a pretty amazing thing considering what we were setting out to do. We saw discipline, we saw drugs, we saw, he went AWOL, we went AWOL with him. He's a great kid, but he's a kid just like the rest of us. And I kept having to fight for this story and say, this kid's me. He's every 18-year-old kid. He's going to screw up. He had 5 girlfriends, 3 fiancés. I mean, come on. I mean, he was a great kid. But in the end, boy, he could get the girls, too, I'll have to say. But he was the best of America. He was just the average person, and he fought to stay in the military. 20 years ago, the military would have thrown him out the door after the first month. And, you know, he represented his company, he represented his platoon very well. And one of the things we were talking about earlier was at the end of the story, Craig asked him a question, a real simple question, which is, why did you do this story? And for that kid, it was the most eloquent thing that I had ever heard him say. And he started by saying when he first did it, he thought it'd be really cool and maybe he could get some dates. You know, a whole story about me. And then by the end, he said, I realized that what you were really telling was a story about the other soldiers in my platoon and what we go through to actually become a soldier. He wanted to stand on the line for this country, And we wanted to take the stance back and just say, he's just the everyday kid. Childhood poverty was completely the opposite. We got a set of numbers that were last fall that were so stunning to me. 72% increase in childhood poverty from 2000 to 2007 in the state of Colorado. The highest in the nation. Colorado's a very diverse state, lots of urban, lots of rural. And we stumbled in our newsroom to captivate that story visually with photojournalism. So we set out as a staff, and the photographers took my challenge, and we went throughout the state of Colorado. We drove well over 20,000 miles in 4 weeks to tell the stories of 7 everyday families who matched the numbers and tried to put a face on them. The families tell their own stories. There's no, we don't get in between them and them talking about their lives in poverty. And it was a wonderful experience to meet both these families, all 7 of the poverty families, as well as the Fishers, who are just a wonderful, wonderful family. It was an extremely difficult and challenging year, as I said. The Denver Post went through bankruptcy. We had salary reductions, furloughs. The Rocky Mountain News, our dear competitor, closed. We saw our friends at the Rocky all lose their jobs. But beyond that, the staff at the Denver Post chose to continue to make great photojournalism against all the odds, and there were difficult odds. We all believe in social justice. We believe in the people. We believe in telling their stories. We believe in standing up for people who have no voices. And I want to say that we're going to continue to do that at the Denver Post. Thank you very much.